Coming up on Carolina News, safe thrills.
It's safety. It's nothing but safety.
How is one local carnival keeping people safe on and off the ride? Plus, see who turned 225 years old today. And clipping coupons. Grocery prices are on the rise, but some people are fighting back. How much can you save? All that and more coming up next on Carolina News.
Live from the capital city, Carolina News brings you your news first. With breaking news and in-depth reporting. Up-to-the-minute weather. And all your sports news and highlights. It's all here, now, on Carolina News.
Good afternoon and welcome to Carolina News. I'm Jared Munch.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Brian Dresdo. Well, we're learning more about what happened with the derailment of that children's train ride this weekend in Spartanburg. The accident killed a 6-year-old child and injured several others.
We have team coverage including the latest developments in the investigation from reporter Michael Wunderlich.
The conductor driving the train that crashed and killed a 6-year-old boy in Spartanburg told police he was driving too fast. An incident report said Matthew Conrad told officers on the way to the hospital he knew better than to drive the train that fast. The report comes a day after the ride's inspector was fired after he had approved the operation of the ride, issued a permit, and falsified the inspection report. The train battery was dead, and Inspector Donnie Kerrigan was unable to test the train's speed but still gave the okay for the ride. Conrad told officers in the report he didn't know how he was going to live with himself after Saturday's accident. Michael Wunderlich, Carolina News.
The investigation is ongoing and the exact cause of the accident has not been determined.
Well, with the questions and concerns surrounding the accident in Spartanburg, Rebecca Farmer went out to see how Columbia parents feel about putting their children on rides.
Kathy Ford is a proud parent of her only child, Zeta James.
It's our only child, much wanted and much loved.
After news broke about a miniature train ride in Spartanburg derailing and killing a 6-year-old boy, then hearing the inspector of the ride admitted to faking the inspection report, she's concerned about her daughter going on amusement rides.
And as a parent, I'm always concerned about our safety, so I do have concerns and always have had concerns about those types of rides.
Smoky Mountain Amusements is in town this week at the Dutch Fork Square off Bush River Road. Ride operator Walter Gustafson assures their rides are safe and inspected on a daily basis.
Everything that we need to do on the inspection sheets that are all up to date. Your brakes, your fencing, your pins, your eye keys, your nuts and bolts, tires, and if there's any unusual noises, we go right to the supervisor.
Gustafson said their rides have height requirements.
It's safety. It's nothing but safety.
And the time it takes Gustafson to inspect most rides?
45 minutes to an hour.
Though fairgoers may be concerned about the safety of the rides they go on, operators want to assure customers that their safety is the #1 priority.
Whatever it needs to be done to make sure it's safe for all the customers.
But more information and reassurance from the state's Department of Labor, Licensing, and Regulation is necessary for parents like Kathy Ford.
If their employees were indeed not falsifying reports, and I think that's tricky. It's going to be tricky to know from this point forward.
The State Labor Department is asking the Inspector General to review the department's practices and oversight to ensure the tragedy is not repeated. Rebecca Farmer, Carolina News.
Well, other amusement parks in Columbia, like Frankie's Fun Park, are inspected weekly and annually by the State Labor Department.
And the controversy over Nikki Haley's removal of Darla Moore from the USC Board of Trustees continues. Students and other Darla Moore supporters are planning to rally for her reinstatement at the State House. Moore has donated over $70 million to the university. The rally is scheduled to start tomorrow at noon. And Governor Nikki Haley continues to make changes around the state. Haley has finished filling her cabinet. Now she has started filling thousands of positions that oversee state agencies. According to contribution reports, of the 59 people whom Haley appointed to state boards, 26 of those donated nearly $75,000 to her campaign. Another change includes 4 new members for the Department of National Resources Board. The board sets policies for the state's DNR budget.
We have an update on a story we brought you yesterday about a robbery that took place on Knox Abbott Road Monday morning. Police have released this photo of the suspect covering his face. The suspect tried to rob 2 convenience stores before fleeing in a dark-colored Jeep Cherokee. He's between 5'6" and 5'8", weighs about 150 pounds, and has brownish gray hair. Richland County deputies responded to a robbery 3:30 Tuesday morning at Rick's Party Shop on Bluff Road. When deputies arrived, the victim told them that 2 armed men entered the store and demanded money. After giving the men money from the register, the suspects stole the victim's wallet. If you have information on any of these crimes, call Crime Stoppers at 1-888-CRIME-SC. Well, fitness fanatics who love trudging through the annual mud run in September won't have to wait till next fall to do it again. The U.S. Marine Corps will hold another mud run April 16th in Calhoun County. 4-person teams can register online or by mail. The price is $140 per team, and applications must be received by April 14th. The proceeds raised from the event support Marines' families that were injured or killed while serving. Last year's race raised $526,000. Well, a small earthquake shakes up South Carolina near Chesterfield County and North Carolina border. The U.S. Geological Survey says 2.9 quake struck just around after 6 Monday evening. Chesterfield authorities say no damage or injuries were reported, but the 911 center received more than 100 calls from people who felt the ground shake.
And we've had some beautiful weather lately. Let's check in with forecaster Andrea Harris for our first forecast. Andrea, what do you have for us?
Well, it's a nice hot 87 degrees out currently. The rest of the week should stay pretty mild, but there is a cold front coming through. I'll let you know just how cool it's going to get and if things will warm back up. All this coming up next.
Well, the search for an American teacher in Japan has finally come to an end. 24-year-old Taylor Anderson was found dead earlier this week. The Virginia native spent the last 3 years teaching in Miyagi, an area hit hard by the tsunami. Her parents say she was in love with the country, its culture, and the children. Anderson is the first known American killed in the disaster.
2 Americans are safely back home after their fighter jet crashed in Libya this morning. The pilot and weapons officers were flying to Libya for a coalition attack aimed at protecting Libyan civilians when their jet malfunctioned. Both passengers ejected from the plane and landed safely with minor injuries. Officials say the crash was purely mechanical and not the result of enemy or hostile actions. And the Egyptian Interior Ministry in Cairo caught on fire earlier today. The fire came after a peaceful protest for higher wages was held outside the ministry. Thousands of the protesters are ministry employees, but they say they are not responsible for the blaze. And you'll probably notice gas prices have not gone down in recent weeks. According to AAA, South Carolina's state average is at $3.39 a gallon. But Columbia is a few cents over the state's average. The Midlands are seeing prices floating around $3.40. Prices could be worse, however. AAA says the national average for gas is $3.54 a gallon. Gas was at $2.82 this time last year.
Well, we all missed an occasion. It might have been an anniversary, Valentine's Day, or even a birthday. And Columbia officials almost missed the capital city's birthday. Justin Fabiano was at Columbia's birthday party and tells us how the city put it all together just in time.
Famously hot, unfamously old.
I mean, I just heard the music when I came out, and I was like, oh, it sounds nice out. What's going on?
Yesterday, I got a message on my iPhone from the office of the mayor.
The capital city's 225th birthday.
It's Columbia's 225th birthday, and not many people knew about it. Even the city didn't know about it until a few weeks ago, which didn't leave much time for party planning.
3.5 weeks. Mayor Benjamin came into a council meeting, and he kind of sprung it on us.
Well, even though there was only 3.5 weeks to plan this party, there was still plenty of time to bake this gigantic cake to celebrate the birthday, and there was also plenty of time for all who came to have a good time. The St. Peter's Catholic School Children's Choir led the city in singing Happy Birthday. But Columbia Mayor Steve Benjamin is already thinking about birthdays to come.
I see a future that is only limited by our dreams.
Dreams where one day Columbia can have its cake and eat it too. Justin Fabiano, Carolina News.
Columbia was the second planned capital in the United States. It was a toss-up between naming the city Columbia or Washington.
You know, I think that's a good choice, Columbia. I like it. Still ahead, see how students are learning how to shop smart and eat healthy at the same time.
Plus, see how some shoppers are figuring out how to save a buck
so your body
during
can
tough
use it later on
economic
when it
times.
needs it.